This is Chapter 4 of my book, Beyond Oxalates, The Complete Guide to Plant Toxins. Chapter 4 is called Phytates, the Mineral Thieves. In this chapter, we dive deeply into one of the most pervasive and underappreciated toxins in the plant food sphere, the class of compounds known as phytates, also called phytic acid. While not a toxin in the sense of being acutely poisonous for the context of Beyond Oxalates, the Complete Guide to Plant Toxins, phytates represent a chronic biochemical saboteur of mineral status and metabolic resilience. I describe them in the language of my voice, direct, informed by carnivore-orient biology, skeptical of plant defense systems, yet grounded in the literature so you, the reader, can understand their chemistry, mechanism of action, where they hide, what symptoms they provoke, and how, if possible, to mitigate your effects. Let's look at the definition and chemistry. At its core, a phytate is the salt or ester form of phytic acid. In plants, especially seeds, grains, legumes, nuts, and the bran of cereals, this molecule serves as the primary storage form of phosphorus and as a way for the plant to keep bound minerals, such as calcium, magnesium, iron, and zinc, in inert reserves. Chemically speaking, the phytic acid molecule has 6 phosphate groups attached to an inositol ring, making it extremely negatively charged under pH. Many of the phosphate protons dissociate. This strong negative charge allows phytate to form stable chelate complexes with positively charged mineral ions, cations, and even trace metals. In the plant, this is a functional adaptation. In the human digestive tract, it becomes a mineral thief. In short, phytates mean highly charged inositol phosphate compounds in plant seeds, strong chelators of minerals, potential reduction in mineral bioavailability when consumed. Now, mechanism of action, how phytates act as mineral thieves. Here's where the trouble begins. When you consume plant foods rich in phytates, several mechanisms come into play. Number 1, chelation of minerals in the gut. The highly negatively charged phytate molecule binds minerals like zinc, iron, calcium, magnesium, and manganese in the intestinal lumen. These bound mineral phytate complexes are often insoluble or precipitate under intestinal pH conditions, rendering the minerals unavailable for absorption. Example, one review estimated that as little as 5 to 10 milligrams of phytic acid can reduce non-heme iron absorption by 50% in a single meal. Number 2, reduced digestibility of proteins, starches, and lipids. Phytate also interacts with digestive enzymes and digestive proteins, inhibiting them and reducing overall nutrient uptake. The result is that plant-based meals heavy in phytate may not just rob minerals, but blunt overall digestive efficiency of other nutrients. Number 3, chronic marginal mineral deficiency over time. If phytate-rich foods form a large portion of the diet, especially in the absence of animal-based sources of highly bioavailable minerals, the cumulative effect can be lower mineral stores and subtle deficiency states. Zinc, iron, magnesium, for example, even if total dietary intake appears adequate. Number 4, secondary interactions. The presence of high calcium or other cations can amplify phytate's inhibitory effect because calcium phytate complexes are even more insoluble. On the flip side, the plant uses phytate as a storage and protective mechanism. So from the plant's perspective, it's a defense system. But from the carnivore human, resonance-centric perspective, it becomes an involuntary mismatch. In short, phytate is a chelator plus an anti-digestive agent, and this leads to reduced mineral absorption and potential metabolic stress over time. Food sources where phytates hide. Phytates are found almost exclusively in plant-based foods, especially seeds and the outer layers of grains and legumes. According to Healthline, all edible seeds, grains, legumes, and nuts contain phytic acid in varying quantities. Here's some more detail. Grains, whole wheat, wheat bran, rice bran, maize, corn contain about 0.4 to 8.7% phytic acid by dry weight, depending on the grain and processing. Legumes like lentils and beans and peas have phytic acid ranges of 0.3% to 2.4%. Nuts like almonds and Brazil nuts and hazelnuts and walnuts can range widely from 0.2% all the way up to 9.4% in certain nuts. Rice bran, wheat bran, and other high bran or germ fractions of gram are especially concentrated in phytate. Pseudo-cereals like quinoa also contain notable levels. For example, one French review cites sarrasin at 3.5 to 3.8% of dry weight. From a carnivore-centric lens, if your diet is heavy in legumes, whole grains, nuts, and seeds, utilizing these as staples, you are consigning yourself to a chronic mineral robbery dynamic via phytates. In contrast, animal-based foods like meat, fish, eggs, and dairy contain essentially negligible phytate content, and many of the critical minerals present in highly bioavailable forms, heme iron, zinc, bound to proteins, etc. Thus, a diet low in plant seed foods automatically sidesteps much of the phytate load. Symptoms and signatures of phytate overload. Because phytate works subtly and chronically rather than acutely, the symptoms are often insidious. Some of the patterns I see include mineral deficiency type symptoms, despite adequate intake. Signs of zinc deficiency are poor wound healing, frequent infections, alopecia, impaired taste and smell. Signs of iron deficiency, non-heme iron, impacted more, fatigue, early cognitive decline, restless legs, microcytic or borderline microcytic anemia that appears despite vegetarian iron intake. Signs of calcium and magnesium displacement are subtle bone demineralization, increased risk of stress fractures, impaired muscle recovery, and cramps. Poor digestive and metabolic adaptation. Because phytate interferes with enzyme function and nutrient uptake, you might see slower recovery from workouts, more systemic inflammation, marginal micronutrient status, and symptoms of nutrient fatigue. In metabolic contexts, lower mineral status may contribute to insulin resistance, impaired mitochondrial function, and higher oxidative stress, since many minerals act as enzyme cofactors. In children or nutrient-compromised adults, in regions where diets are heavily grain, legume-based, and animal foods are minimal, mineral deficiencies connected to high phytate intake are well documented, especially zinc and iron. More subtle but real, adult vegetarians or vegans may consume enough minerals on paper but fail to absorb them optimally because of phytate interference. Hidden reserve depletion. Because the body has mineral stores, phytate's effects may manifest slowly. There may be no overt clinical deficiency until the mineral reserve is significantly drained. Therefore, what appears as normal may in fact be marginal. If you are a carnivore, one of the big signals is when someone transitions off heavy legumes and grains and nuts and adds animal foods. Suddenly, their fatigue state improves. Their minimal labs improve. Their metabolic energy returns. Phytates may very well be a hidden factor in that story. So, although phytates are not poison in the acute toxin sense, they act as chronic metabolic stressors by constraining mineral availability. And in the modern world of ultra-processed foods and lean animal food avoidance, their effects are amplified. Now for the practical. If phytates are the mineral thieves, what do you do about them? Here's some evidence-based strategies. framed through an emphasis on resilience, carnivore-leaning diet, and real-life application. Prioritize, number 1, animal-based, low phytate foods. Meat, fish, eggs, dairy provide minerals, iron, zinc, calcium, magnesium, in forms less impacted by phytate. By reducing reliance on legumes, whole grains, high-brand cereals, nuts, and seeds as staple foods, you automatically reduce the phytate load. This aligns with your background as a carnivore. You're shifting from plant seed heavy to meat centric, which reduces anti-nutrient burden. Number 2, if you do eat high phytate plant foods, prepare them properly. Soaking, sprouting, germination, fermentation reduce phytate content. Leavening and long fermentation, for sourdough breads and things like that, they're more effective in reducing phytates than short yeast leavening. Cooking alone helps somewhat, but is less effective unless combined with soaking and germination. From a carnivore perspective, if someone is still including legumes and grains and seeds, ensure that you're using traditional preparation methods. Soak overnight, sprout, ferment, rather than quick cook methods. I recommend that you just don't eat them. Number 3, pair high phytate meals with mineral boosting cofactors. Vitamin C, ascorbic acid, can reduce the inhibitory effect on iron absorption. Don't overdo the vitamin C, however, or you have too much oxalate. Animal protection consumption improves mineral absorption even in the presence of phytates. Example, heme iron absorption is less impacted. Avoid over-relying on plant iron, which is the non-heme form, in high phytate context. Number 4, consider mineral status monitoring. Given the stealth nature of phytate impacts, monitoring zinc, ferritin, iron, magnesium, and even bone markers might make sense, especially in populations who have heavy grain legume diets or low animal food intake. I suggest periodic minimal profiling to catch marginal deficiencies early. Number 5, balance the risk-benefit in context. It's worth recognizing that phytates can have some beneficial properties. They're not antioxidant, they're actually pro-oxidant, but they can cause your own body to make antioxidants, like glutathione. However, in the paradigm of my book, which argues the case for animal-based resilience and the hazards of plant-based defense chemicals, the scale tips. If you're running higher risk, low animal food intake, high phytate load, minimal marginality, then the cost of phytate is more relevant. The key, don't assume whole grains and beans are always safe, especially when you are in a mineral, stress, low animal food or processed food environment. Integration, why phytates matter for the carnivore teacher nutritionist, or you. From your carnivore advantage, the phytate story fits neatly into the overreaching narrative I'm crafting in this book. Plant-based foods are not benign. They come packaged with chemical defenses, evolved to thwart predation, protect seeds, and limit mineral availability to herbivores. Phytates are one of those defenses. When humans lean heavily on seeds and grains and legumes, they may unknowingly be participating in a metabolic tug-of-war. The plant says, I will store phosphorus and lock it away, tie up your zinc and iron and bind your calcium. And the human says, thanks, but I prefer to absorb them. Over generations, this dynamic may contribute to subtle but profound shifts, marginal zinc deficiency, higher oxidative stress, because minerals act as cofactors for antioxidant enzymes, impaired mitochondrial performance, poor recovery, and metabolic drag. In contrast, a diet that is centered on bioavailable animal-derived minerals, mineral seed-based legume grain load and preparation methods that minimize anti-nutrient burden creates a different trajectory. Less mineral loss, better resilience, cleaner metabolic signaling, and fewer hidden burdens. That is exactly the blueprint I'm advocating through my teaching and my videos and my book. By including this chapter on phytates, I equip you, my reader, not just with what this plant toxin is, but with why it matters in real human metabolism, especially in the context of the modern diet, which often masquerades as healthy, when in fact it may be subtly mineral deficient because of the phytate load. I also give you clear tactics to mitigate. Reduce seed, legume, grain reliance. Prepare carefully and prioritize animal-based minerals. Monitor status. In summary, phytates, phytic acid, are plant seed compounds that strongly bind minerals via multiple phosphate groups. They act as mineral thieves, reducing the bioavailability of zinc, iron, calcium, magnesium, manganese, and disrupting digestive enzyme efficiency. They are especially prominent in seeds, legumes, grains, nuts, and bran layers. Animal foods essentially sidestep this burden. Symptoms of chronic phytate burden include marginal mineral deficiency signs, especially zinc, iron, and calcium, poor recovery, elevated metabolic stress, often in those relying heavily on plant seeds, staples, and low animal food intake. Mitigation is to reduce reliance on high phytate foods. If consuming them, use soaking, sprouting, fermentation, pair with animal minerals and vitamin C. Consider monitoring mineral status. Prioritize animal-based foods for mineral security. In the larger narrative of my book, Phytates reinforce the paradigm that many plant-based foods come with chemical baggage designed by nature. Overcoming that baggage is part of adopting the carnivore-centric, mineral-rich, resonance-based human diet I advocate.